Hey everyone, we're so glad you're back for another episode of Girl Talkin' Shenanigans. I'm Marilyn.
And I'm Cynthia.
And recently, Cynthia and I shared in an episode what a big part cancer plays in our life. And although we plan to be very open and honest about what's going on in our personal lives with the journey of all that, Cynthia and I wanted to make sure that when we started this podcast, it wasn't going to be a podcast about cancer. We wanted it to be a podcast where we find joy and gratitude and laughter in even just the simplest of things, and hopefully to inspire you guys to take advantage of every minute that you have with the ones you love, because you just never know what tomorrow brings. With the laughter part in mind, Cynthia and I wanted to have a really funny and fun episode where we share mishaps in the workplace. We know that everybody can relate to this.
Yes.
So I want to pass it off to Cynthia because she gave me just a sneak peek of the story she was going to share. And so I'm dying to find out.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Yes. And I know we've all had the mishaps at work and things we can laugh about. And anyway, we just thought this would be a funny one because we went through so many of them and we're cracking ourselves up over it, right? So, probably the one that was not only funny but super scary for me was when one day two men, literally men in black, came into our office and went to the reception desk and asked for me. And I am like, me? What did I do?
Yeah.
And so I was kind of freaking out, totally got anxiety.
Rightly
Sweat
so.
balls started to form. And I just thought, what in the heck would they want with me? So I had to go into a conference room with them. And they literally opened up a file, and I see my handwriting in the file.
Oh.
It's a file that I had already closed some time ago. And the guy did say he wanted to try to put me at ease because he could tell I was nervous.
Yeah.
And he said, I want you to know you're not in trouble.
Thank
and
God
I'm like,
he said that. Just
yeah.
to like bring you some like reassurance.
Yeah, because I probably wasn't even breathing, and I was probably turning blue by then.
Yeah.
And he said, you know, we are investigating one of your clients. And I'm like, oh my gosh, okay. And you know, in my mind, I'm thinking, which one, you know?
That would be scary.
So unfortunately, it was a client that I had worked with for quite a few years.
Oh my gosh.
I totally, you know, really liked this guy and respected him and had closed quite a few escrows.
So you were
with
probably
him.
like so shocked it was him.
Yeah.
You're probably thinking it's got to be one of the onesies or twosies that I closed in escrow.
Yeah, like a one-hit escrow that I had done, right? And oh no, it's somebody that had closed multiple escrows on.
Wow.
So that kind of made me
feel bad.
Oh my gosh, I did. I felt really bad. But anyway, probably one of the funny things that did happen though was that he was going through the file, and then he says, when we were done, he goes, okay, well, I do need your cell number because I need to, you know, we need to get in contact with you at any time before, because you are going to have to come in and like go to federal court. And I'm just like, oh my gosh.
That is so nerve-wracking.
You're freaking kidding me.
Serious.
Yeah. So anyway, so I said, well, because I still was kind of a little, I don't know, worried or wondering if I was getting punked or something, you know?
Yeah, because that's just so random with two guys coming in the office.
So random.
I might have thought, like, is this like, you know, someone's teasing me or just messing with
like,
me?
Is this for real? Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. And so anyway, so he said, I need your cell number. So I said, okay, well, if I give you my cell number, then you have to give me your cell number. And he was like, okay. So
You're brave to ask for his number.
I wanted to make sure he was on the up and up.
I don't think I would have been brave enough to even say that. I'd been like, okay, like here's my social security number. Here's the name of all my children.
No.
You're like, no, you got to give me your phone number
Yeah, give
too.
me yours. And he was kind of cute, so.
Then you might have thought he was like going to ask you out. You're like, I'm married. You can't ask me for my phone number.
No, I didn't. But he did write his cell number on his card and gave it to me. He goes, okay, here you go, you know, tick for tack. You know?
Yes.
So, yeah, so anyway, so that was like pretty astounding for me. me.
Yeah.
And long story short, I did have to go to federal court.
That is so crazy.
And probably the one thing that happened that I thought was kind of funny in federal court is, I have to go up there, get sworn in, go sit in the box. You know. They had my file up on a screen. I had to go through the pages they had marked, ask me questions, and I'm sure my throat was like shaking.
Yeah.
I know I was shaking.
I would have been too.
Oh my gosh. But the first thing they said, I almost felt like I was like in a murder case or something.
Yeah, it reminds me of a TV show.
Yeah, that's what I felt like. Bailiff and everything.
Wow.
But they said, do you see the defendant here in this courtroom? And I'm like, yes. And they said, point him out to me. And I literally had to point to my client.
That had to be so painful.
And what was so funny, though, as I'm pointing to my client, he's like, hi, Cynthia.
That's so cute. Like he's in so much trouble potentially, but he's like such a good client.
But he felt bad that he's dragging me.
Yes.
I could just tell by the expression on his face.
Yes. Like he wanted to say hello, but like I am so sorry. I owe you every single escrow for the rest of my life.
I don't want any more.
You're like, no, this is too much for me.
Yeah.
It's too scary.
I'm ready to have a heart attack, so no. But just so you know, he was acquitted.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he did not.
So it wasn't like he was doing anything intentionally.
Well, honestly, I don't know if he was. There wasn't enough evidence.
Oh, I see.
To prosecute him for
it.
So luckily, he did not get in trouble. He was off, and so that did, because I saw it in the newspaper. So it did make me feel better.
Yeah. Did he open any other escrows with you after that?
He did not work. I don't think he worked in the industry after that. So.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was probably the biggest, most unheard of thing.
Yeah, that just sounds like
happened to me.
Yeah, like you're in a movie or something, not
honestly,
real life.
Right.
Especially with you, because you
we try to do
everything so
right
perfect.
To the book.
Yes.
Never ever do anything dishonest.
Yes, just so, I mean, it's like already such a nerve-wracking job because we're dealing with millions of dollars every single day in the closings.
Right. Trying not to make a mistake.
Yes.
But I know that you have been in the industry too, and that you've had some crazy things happen to you too.
Well, and unfortunately, mine are more embarrassing. I don't have anything juicy with Men in Black and a hot FBI guy. But when we were talking about doing something fun like this in the podcast, this story did come to mind, and so I'm going to share it, even though it's super embarrassing. But what I want to do is I need to paint a picture so that you guys can visualize how this all went down. Okay, so this is when I'm 19. I'm working in the title and escrow industry, of course, and I was the assistant to the main receptionist, who was my boyfriend's mom at the time, and her and I could not take lunch at the same time because someone always had to be manning the front desk and greeting clients and answering the phones. So I had just got back from lunch, and she left to go to lunch, and so I just want to kind of give you a vision of what the reception area looked like, because it's going to come into play in a few minutes. Okay, so we had a long reception desk. There was a wall next to me. Jenny sat to my left. Hi, Jenny. And there was a lobby that kind of jetted out towards the right of me. Sorry. And then there was chairs and a little table back over there. So I could never see the lobby from where I sat. But directly in front of me, if you could visualize, just floor to ceiling, a glass window with two glass double doors that opened up into an indoor atrium that had plants and trees and glass doors leading on either side of the glass windows that led to the parking lot for guests to come into the building. And then at the very end of this atrium was a set of stairs that went up to the second floor where administration, we called it admin, administration department was, and our big bosses, our county manager and the assistant county manager worked up there. So I get back from lunch, Jenny leaves, And I'm just sitting there and the phones aren't ringing quite yet. And I'm just kind of getting all organized and ready to like answer phones, greet clients. When all of a sudden, my throat started itching. It's because I have really bad allergies during the springtime when everything's blooming, and it does this really weird thing to my throat where it like itches like in the back of my throat and like inside my ear. And like years ago when I was like a little kid, I discovered that if I do this really crazy, strange thing where I kind of like suck air down the back of my throat, like I could actually kind of like relieve.
Like scratch it.
Yeah,
like scratches it. Yeah.
Yeah, it feels like I'm scratching it kind of, and it kind of relieves all that like itchy, tickly, scratchy feeling. So, are you going to make me make the sound?
Well, of course. I got it. You have to do it so everybody knows what it sounds like.
You told me you were going to make me do it. And so I'm like, I guess just to make, this episode interesting, I'll go ahead and embarrass myself and do it. But, okay.
And she does this all the time when I'll be driving, we're driving somewhere, and we're talking, and all of a sudden this noise comes out.
Yes, and honestly, when I was younger, I mean, Steve doesn't care. We've been married over 20 years. But when I was dating, like, it was a thing that I used to think about during allergy season. Like, I don't want to have to do this noise in front of these guys. Like, maybe they'll, like, think I'm a weirdo and, like, break up with me or something like that.
Part pig.
Yeah, I'm just part pig. Okay, so here I go. I'm just going to do it really fast, okay? Okay,
I
is that...
I
do not know what my face looks like when I make this sound.
Over it. You should just do it.
No. But I hope you can hear it. So I was doing that, and I was doing it, like, so much because my throat was itching so bad while I was sitting at the reception desk. And all of a sudden, I see our assistant county manager coming down the stairs from the second floor. And I'm sitting there, and I know that you can't tell I'm making the sound because I don't think my mouth is moving. Maybe my nose is doing something weird, but I knew that he couldn't see me from that far away. So I'm just continuing to make this sound, like, continually, like, over and over and over and over again. And I'm thinking, as soon as I don't want to say his name. As soon as the assistant county manager gets to the double doors, I'm just going to stop. But it was feeling so good to keep doing it because my allergies were so bad. So as soon as he hit the double doors to come into the reception area, I stopped. And so I was like, "Hi, Tom." And he's like, "Hey," and just kind of nods at me. And I'm like, well, that was kind of weird. Oh, I said his name. Oops, it came out. That's okay. I'm not going to give his last name.
That's right. There's lots of time.
Yeah, and this story is not even about him. It's about me, my embarrassing moment. But anyways, usually he would come up to the reception desk and just lean on it, and like we'd catch up, or he'd ask me to do him a favor. But when I said, "Hey, Tom, how's it going?" he was like, and then looked this direction to where the lobby was. And I'm thinking, oh, maybe he left something in the lobby when I was at lunch. And all of a sudden, Tom goes, "Hey, Bob, thanks for waiting. Come on to my office and I'll take you upstairs." And I'm like, what? There is somebody sitting over there? And I wanted to die. So Tom heads out. He opens the double door for his client to follow him. And the guy, when he gets up, he like goes like this to see who was making that sound. And I am sitting there like wanting the earth to just like swallow me up. And honestly, all I could think about was, I hope he does not tell Tom that your receptionist is a weirdo.
She makes weird noises.
Yes, and that I would get fired, or that maybe he would say, like, your receptionist was doing this, like, really creepy thing, and that, like, maybe I would get in trouble for, like, not being professional, but, like, I was so embarrassed that I literally had to call Jenny and tell her, like, I'm so embarrassed right now. I feel like I'm just going to die. And I told her what happened, and she's like, don't worry about it. I'm sure.
And what's so funny, I think, is that, and I think with me, that it caught me off guard the first time she did it when we were in the car and I was driving. I think what it is, too, is Marilyn is like, totally put together. And she's always like perfect. Perfect hair, perfect makeup. You know, her lipstick has to be perfect.
Oh my
you know,
gosh.
she's always doing
Thank you.
lipstick. So anyway, so you know, when I first got to know her, I was like, oh man, the girl's put together, you know. She's always looks so good, you know. So she's sitting in my car, and I'm driving. All of a sudden, I hear that pig noise coming out of her.
Yeah.
And I'm like, looking at her like, what the heck are you doing? You know, oh, sorry, I do this because my throat itches. And I'm thinking, that is like the last noise you think that's going to come out of her. And I think that's what's so funny about it, you know, because you don't expect it. Because she literally sounds like a freaking hog.
Yeah, no, it is like a hog.
A hog.
Yeah, not just a little pig, like a big fat hog. I don't know.
And now that I've known her for so many years,
yeah.
I'm used to it, you know?
Well, and we've spent so much time together that, like, we're very comfortable with each other. And sometimes she'll be telling me a story while we're driving wherever we're driving, Napa or Rena. And I'll just be, like, listening to her, and I'm thinking, oh, my God, she probably thinks I'm just, like, a weirdo because she's talking to me and I'm listening and I'm like, you know, making this like crazy noise. So, anyways, well, that's my story.
That's a good one. That's a good story. But I do remember another time, and this happened to somebody else. But this story has stuck with me because this happened quite some time ago. But somebody that I used to work with, she was an assistant, but she was doing signings. And when we do a signing, we have to go, or we did, dependent on your office, but
a loan document signing.
Yeah. You usually are going into a private room. So you have, you know, you don't have all the noise of the office and the phones ringing and all that kind of stuff. Right. So anyway, so she had, we kind of check out like what we're signing and who we're signing, you know, before we do it. We kind of check out their 1003. And so she kind of saw that the guy was single and it was just him coming in to sign. And she was actually a single person herself.
And a 1003 is a loan application.
Yes, the loan
Sorry.
application.
I just wanted to admit, because not everybody knows our lingo.
I know, right?
Yeah, we get used to it, but
we do.
Yeah, it's a loan application. Is a 1003.
So, and then signing loan docs, which I remember back then was like this, and you didn't sign them online.
No.
You literally signed
everything. A piece of paper.
In the office. You sat down. You signed these papers. So anyway, so this gentleman came in, and she let him into the conference room and sat down, and they're chit-chatting a little bit and getting, you know, driver's license for the notary and all that stuff. And then they're signing their documents, and he's going through them, and then she's kind of thinking that, you know, I think he's kind of giving me the look a little bit, you know. And anyway, so he keeps continuing, and then he says to her, do you date? And she says to him, oh, no, I don't ever, you know, date clients.
Yeah.
That's kind of a, you know.
Not professional.
Yeah, not professional. And he said, oh, no, I meant the document. Do you date the document?
Oh, gosh. No!
She talk about needing a hole to open and be swallowed.
Swallowed up.
She wanted to die.
Oh my!
Because he is like, no, the document.
Yeah, like he was only asking if you're supposed to date the document after they sign it. Oh my God!
Not asking her on a date.
No.
I mean, when she told me that, I cracked up, and that has lived with me all these years.
Oh my gosh, I feel so bad for her.
Funny.
Oh, that is hilarious.
Yeah.
Especially because she thought he was like eyeing her.
Yeah, trying to
she saw on his loan application he's single and oh my gosh, that poor thing. Oh my gosh.
So
oh my gosh.
I bet there's tons of, do you know like some stories from other people?
Okay.
So we don't have to embarrass ourselves.
Yes, no, because honestly, like when I was thinking of embarrassing moments, I literally was like, I didn't realize that I had so many embarrassing things happen to me.
Right, you
but
start thinking about it.
Yes,
yeah,
yes, because I'm like, oh my gosh, at this title company. Oh my gosh, at that title company. Oh my gosh, there was even one at the Hair Crafters, my very first job. But you know what? I'm going to deflect the embarrassment off of me, and I would love to share a story because this one was so random, and it's about a gentleman that I used to work with a long time ago, and I'm not going to use his name, so try to catch me if I do that again and name drop. Okay, so the company I worked for, we had just hired a brand new sales rep. He was the sweetest guy, super handsome, totally articulate, put together, just very buttoned up and very good at what he does. And so he would be gone all morning, making his calls and visiting clients and having appointments. And then, most of the sales reps would make their way back into the office around lunchtime, and he stopped by the restroom before he headed into the office, which they had to pass my desk to get back to all the offices. And I saw him come in and I waved, and then he headed down the hall in front of my desk to use the restroom. And so, anyways, I didn't think anything of it. I'm just answering phones, greeting clients, chit-chatting with Jenny, and we're doing our thing. And, people are coming and going. Like, I don't even know, maybe 30 or 45 minutes had gone by, and Jenny had gone to the back to go talk to one of our employees, and he came up to me, and I'm like, how's it going? How's your day? And he's like, I literally feel like I want to die of embarrassment. And I'm like, what happened? He said, I came back from making calls and I went to the restroom, and he goes, I picked a stall and I sat down. He goes, within a couple of minutes, I'm hearing ladies' voices.
Oh my goodness.
And he's like, I'm thinking to myself, he says, that they're going to realize as soon as they see the urinals that they're in a men's, they're in the men's restroom. And
then he's thinking, oh wait, did I see any urinals?
No, he hadn't got there yet. He hadn't got there yet in his thought process. So he's just sitting there like thinking, oh my gosh, these poor ladies are going to be so embarrassed when they realize they're in the men's room, right? So they don't catch on. There's urinals. They're talking and chit-chatting, two girls, and they choose a stall near him. So now he's like, oh my gosh, like these poor ladies are going to be mortified when they realize they're in a men's room. He said then all of a sudden the door opens and he hears high heels, click, 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 click on the floor. And he's like, that is definitely another female. And that's when it hit him.
Okay.
I am in the women's room. Now, don't forget, he was fairly new.
Yeah.
So he got the doors mixed up. So now he feels so awkward and creepy because he is using the restroom in the women's room.
Yes.
In the stall,
gosh.
right?
Yeah.
So now he's like afraid that he's going to get in trouble.
Or he's going to get caught in there,
Yes, because he's a man in a women's room. So the only
he's
thing...
a peeping Tom.
Yes, exactly. And like he's new, like we're still getting to know him, you know?
Oh my gosh.
And so he wanted to try to like hide his shoes because he knew if the girls looked down underneath the next stall, they would see a man's shoes. So he said the only thing I could think to do was to grab his pant legs right behind his ankles and hold up his legs on either side of the toilet until the girls left.
Oh my gosh.
Mind you, this was right after the lunch hour. So he said he was sitting on that toilet for about 30 minutes while all these women were coming in after their lunch hour, fixing their lipstick and brushing their teeth and using the restroom. He said he was holding his pant legs with his feet up, like on the edges of the toilet seat, for so long that when finally there was a break in the women coming in, yes, and he put his feet down on the ground, he couldn't feel any of his legs.
Because his blood was gone?
Yes. Like, he was like, my legs were completely numb.
Oh my gosh.
He's
that
like,
poor guy.
I'm trying to stand up, and he goes, and now all the blood is rushing down in my legs, and he's got that pins and needles kind of feeling in his feet. Because the funny thing is when he started telling me the story, I thought that he was walking kind of weird as he was approaching the desk, and then he was kind of like leaning on it while he was talking to me.
He had no feeling.
Yes, he still couldn't feel his feet, and I was like, oh my gosh, I am so sorry that happened to you. I said, seriously, like, I'm going to totally vouch for you if this turns into anything weird or awkward or creepy. Like, I totally got you because the look on his face, like, he could not fake.
He did good,
that
though.
He was that. Yeah, I mean, I said, what a genius for grabbing onto your pant legs.
I don't know if I would have thought that.
No.
To pull those up.
Yes.
So that you couldn't, tell.
Yeah, to be like so resourceful when you're like so stressed and mortified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is pretty good.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I honestly, like, I feel like for someone to start at a new company and do something like so largely embarrassing, like, I told him, honestly, I remember I told him I would not tell a soul, and I never told anybody while we worked together. I told the story later after we had both quit and moved on to other title companies. But I always felt so bad for him.
Well, I do remember one time, and this was quite some time ago too, that one of the girls in the accounting department caught our county manager with one of the EOs.
Serious?
So, and EO is escrow officer. Yeah. Serious? And the county manager was married.
My God.
And had kids.
Oh, my God.
So it was a pretty big thing. So what happened was there had been already talk about these two, okay?
So you guys had already gotten wind that maybe something
like maybe, but we
was
had
going
no
on.
proof of what was going on. And she was actually, I was working with her because I was her assistant. So I worked pretty closely with her. So it was pretty funny when this whole thing came out. So she's single, he's not. And one of the bookkeepers, this office I used to work in was huge. And so it had escrow, we had sales reps, we had accounting over here, we had county manager here, escrow manager here. It was a huge office. So one of the accounting, we had a downstairs parking garage. And so a lot of times when people wanted to smoke cigarettes, they would go down to the parking garage and smoke a cigarette. Well, she actually was down there. I think she had a headache that day. So she went down to her had and we used to have to tandem park your cars. And so she was in her car and she would lean the seat all the way back and she was taking a nap because she had a headache.
Oh.
So anyway, this one girl that worked at the office would go down and smoke a cigarette, and the county manager, I guess, because a lot of times there were like 3 or 4 people would go out together.
Yeah, take a little break together.
So anyway, so they're both down there, and it's only them two. And they don't see the girl leaned back in her car because she's all the way back, but she can totally see them.
Oh, no.
And the girl is grabbing the county manager's butt.
Oh my God, that is like scandalous.
Like goofing around, right?
Oh my gosh.
And they're like, hee. And
that has to be so awkward for her.
Oh my God, no. She could not wait for them to leave and to run up those stairs and tell
No. I would have been so scared to say anything.
And she came to me because she knew that I kind of knew, and she knew I worked with her. So she came straight to me to tell me, and we are dying laughing. We're like, oh yeah, now we've got the proof, right?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was huge. I mean, back then too, it was a pretty big thing, and it was pretty funny because then we would watch them all the time to kind of see.
Did they know that you knew?
No, they had no idea. But it all came out later because he ended up divorcing his wife, and
my gosh,
they were together for like 20 years. So I guess it was for real. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that is crazy.
Totally crazy. But I think, don't you think, like, I think because, like, me and you, we talk all the time, right?
Yeah.
And I even when I was a kid in school, I used to get in trouble all the time.
Oh, for talking to your classmates during class?
Oh my gosh, yeah. All the time I was in trouble.
Yeah, I was the same way too.
Yeah. So, I was thinking about that time. So me and Marilyn, I think we had talked about this one other time. We used to work in the same office at one point.
Yeah, that's where we met.
That's how we met.
Yeah.
Right. And one time she was talking, and we were always getting in trouble for talking. And again, she was in the front of the office. I was in the back of the office.
Yes.
And she would turn around and we would talk or converse. And one time the manager in the office had said, Marilyn, if you don't stop talking, I'm going to put masking tape or I'm going to duct tape your mouth.
She said duct tape.
Duct tape your mouth. And what was so hilarious was that Marilyn said, oh, please don't do that because that'll mess up my lipstick.
Literally, right?
And I was dying.
No, because I was like, that was literally probably the only thing that somebody could say to stop me from talking, because I knew we used to call. We shouldn't say her name,
No.
right? No, okay. We had a cute nickname for her.
Yes.
Everybody called her it. But she used to call me Squeaker.
Yeah. That's right. She did have a
yeah,
name for her. She
for
called
me.
It, yeah. It was
Yeah.
always, that's right. It wasn't Marilyn. It was Squeaker. If you don't
Stop
stop
talking.
I'm gonna
Duct tape your mouth. Yeah. Well, hi, if you're watching.
You know who you are.
Yes, but literally, like, my whole life, people would tell me, stop talking, you're going to get in trouble, or
gosh,
stop
me too.
talking, you know, we got it, it's quiet time.
Yes.
But, like, when someone threatens to put duct tape on my lipstick, I'm like, oh, heck no. Like, that shut me up. And the thing is that we were sitting on the outside of the offices, and it was like a desk,
Yes.
all the way to the back. And then next to us would be the escrow officer that we were assisting.
Right.
So this particular manager's office was in an office right between our
Right between us,
desks.
right in the middle.
So we were like busted every single time.
Yeah. Another time, I think we both almost lit our desks on fire.
Oh, in that same branch.
In that same branch.
Yeah. Because we love candles.
Well, it was kind of a time where we were allowed. I don't know. Somebody had come in, lit a candle.
Yeah.
Nobody said anything.
No.
We kind of said, "Oh God, it smells so good."
Yeah, and it just was like so cozy.
Yeah, and it was kind of like soothing.
Yeah,
too, to
yeah.
have this candle.
Yeah.
Well, so then everybody started to light a candle
Yeah.
on their
I
desk.
brought a candle too.
She brought a candle.
Yeah.
We all had candles, and I know with me one day I had my candle in the corner, and I was actually cleaning my desk. We were slow that day, so I was taking everything off. I was 409ing and wiping it down with paper towels.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, my paper towel with the 409 probably caught on fire, and you know how paper towels they go poof like that, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, and it's like poof. And this one girl that was sitting in front of me, she's turning around and she's like, oh my God, like this. And so the manager, who is in the office, where this other girl is, so she's hearing this all and she's going, what's going on out there? I go, nothing. Just stay in your office. Don't come in, because we have black soot flying.
Oh my goodness, that was before I worked with you, because I never saw that happen.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I think it was after you had already left. I think.
Oh, because I'd gone to one of the other branches.
You went to another branch. Yeah.
Oh.
But, yeah, literally almost lit my files on fire.
Serious. And like you said, the paper towel, especially with that 409, it's got like
stuff
alcohol.
Just goes up, and
It's
then
just
the
like
soot was flying. And
I mean,
I'm
you could
just
have
like,
started
stay
the
in
whole-
your office.
Yeah.
Do not come
Don't
out
come
here.
out. You want to see what's going on. Yeah, because the way our files opened, they opened this way, but then they would have like those little brads
Tab
with the
things,
two
yes.
holes at the top. So when you open your file this way, you had to throw the files or the pages over the top of it. And so I had the candle like on the corner of my desk, and I just opened the file and I start flipping the pages over and think I was trying to get to the payoff and like punch in figures into the computer.
Back
and
in
then
the olden days,
yeah.
it was all paper.
It was all paper, yeah. And so somebody in the back was like, Marilyn, your file's on fire. And I'm like, and they're trying not to say it too loud because we didn't want our manager to hear. But I'm just like, what is she talking about? And I look, and like the whole edge of my file was flopped over on top of the flame. And I was just like, oh my gosh. So I was like trying to smash it out. And the manager said the same thing. What's going on out there? I'm like, nothing. Oh, nothing at all. Oh my gosh. Well, this has been like super fun.
Oh my gosh, my throat hurts from laughing.
I know,
so
right?
much.
I
Oh
keep
my God.
covering my mouth because I'm just cracking up so much.
because there were so many. I mean, work was a grind. Let me
Yes,
tell ya.
it was.
But we did have some pretty funny things
Yes.
that happened, and I'm sure we could think of a million.
Oh my
more.
gosh, yeah.
And I'm sure there's a million you could share with us too.
Yeah,
The
I
funny
mean, if
things
you
that happened,
right,
you
if
know?
you guys want to
Yeah.
message us in the comment section and just share a crazy work story, we'd love to hear
yeah,
them.
some of them we could
Yeah.
read. You know,
Yeah,
But-
we might share them if you
Yes.
want to be anonymous. We don't have to, but we
Yeah.
could use another laugh or two. So
always,
if you
always
guys
could use
want to
another laugh, for
share
sure.
your stories,
Yes.
But anyhow, we just want to use this opportunity before we close out this episode just to say how much we appreciate all of you guys that are watching, all of you that have messaged us and said how much we're brightening your day, making you laugh, like whatever. And all the comments about I've told my friends at work, I've shared my, your podcast with my mom, like whatever. We just want to include you all and just say thank you so much for supporting us, sharing our podcast with your family and friends, and for all the love that you guys are giving us.
Yes, and don't forget, we launch every Wednesday. So every Wednesday, if you're getting up early and getting ready for that grind, you tune us in, because we hopefully can brighten your morning.
Yeah.
And start your day off good.
With a little laugh.
Yeah, with a little laugh or a smile. That's our goal to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us, everybody. We hope you have an amazing day.
Have a great day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mwah. Bye.